Hey, so today we're going to show you how easy I think it is to screed or power screed with the new battery DeWALT Screed, a 48 by 38 concrete floor that's 4 inches thick. Now today we're working for Jim. He's here helping us. He's right back to you in those kind of yellow lined boots. And Jim does the foundations, and then he hires us to do a lot of his bigger floors. Some of the smaller floors he does for himself. But today we're here. His floor mix is a 3,500 psi with fiber mesh. We got water reducer in it, and it's about a half air mix for this concrete floor. Now we got 3 trucks coming. It's 23.5 yards. Now Jim takes care of all that. He orders the concrete. He bases his estimate, his price for the foundation and the floor off from the blueprint he gets. So that's why you don't see any wire mesh or rebar in here. Not that it really needs it. The only thing that's really important here is that it's got really good compaction on the subgrade. Building codes make us put 2 inches of styrofoam under these concrete floors if they're more than 600 square feet in size. So that's what we're doing. We're getting started here at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. We got the first truck. First truck's probably around 8.5 yards. Got 3 trucks coming. Concrete plant's about 25 minutes away today, so we're not too far away from the shop today. And we're going to get the first truck just dumped right out and get him out of here because we can only get 1 truck in the driveway at a time. And as you can see, Darren and Luke kind of pulling the concrete around. We told the driver about a 6.5 for a slump with the mid-range water reducer. We can easily pour that for slumps, and you can see how nice that moves around. Concrete's not separating today. It seems to be sticking together pretty good. Feels pretty good as we're magging it. And you can just tell. You can tell how the mix feels right as soon as it comes down the chute and you stop pulling it around. If it's going to be kind of sticky, if it's going to separate or not. But today, first truck, everything looks real good so far. Now this is actually gonna be for a basketball court, like a full-size half-court basketball court for these homeowners, and the builders, they're here too. They're out in the background. But what we're gonna do is, we'll get the floor nice and flat, even with top of wall. We'll power trowel it really smooth today. We'll saw cut our joints in it today. And then when they end up building the garage, when they go to do the flooring, they're going to buy a rubberized floor for the basketball court. And the rubberized floor has all the foul line in it, the 3-point line in it, and all that stuff. So it kind of lays out the basketball court for them. But they just need to start with like a flat base for all that stuff. So that's kind of what we're doing here today. We won't be cutting in any garage doors or anything like that. It's just going to be a 48 by 38. Tall walled, probably 16-foot tall walls on this thing, building structure. And I'll see, maybe a few months down the road after it's done if I can get some finished pics just to show you what it looks like too. But right here, this is really what I wanted to show you today, how easy it is to power screed using DeWALT's new battery operated power screed here, vibrating screed. And you can use multiple boards with this. You can use this triangular board like we're using today from MBW. You can use an L-shaped board from VibraStrike. They have different adjustments, different adapters that go on the bottom of the screed, so you can basically bolt on any type of board like this. This one's a 14-foot long one we're using. One of our favorite boards, actually. You can hear how nice and quiet this thing is. Honestly, you don't need any ear protection. Even though DeWALT would probably want us wearing ear protection here, you don't need it. It's so quiet. This thing is really smooth. And then when you got 2 guys puddling behind you, like Darren and Jim right here, that know what they're doing, plus you get the concrete at about the right level to start with when you're pulling it around. The screeding part is like super easy for this. This was about a 20-foot bay, 22-foot bay by 14 feet wide. I mean, I don't know, I didn't time it. Probably took a couple minutes to get this screeded down nice and flat. Came out really nice. Alright, so you could hear that. It has, once you get it, Luke's probably holding it at about half throttle right there. Once you get it to half throttle, the thing just has a really quiet hum to it, and it just has a nice tight, like, I don't know how to explain it, really fast vibration that makes it skim over the surface like this really easy. The weight, I don't know, I should probably weigh it for you guys and show you. I think it weighs about 40 pounds with the battery itself, so pretty normal to all the other ones I've ever used. And then this kind of tells you the tale of the story right here. When you go to bull float over it, there's no gaps, there's no humps around the bull float. It just right down and back, nice and smooth. And there's the first truck dumped out right there in a matter of just, you know, it actually takes longer to empty the truck out than it does to do anything else. So we'll get the first truck out of there, we'll get the second truck backed in, and we're well on our way to getting this floor poured. Now I know if you've watched a lot of my other videos in the past, you've seen me use multiple different vibrating power screeds from different companies, especially MBWs. I mean, they've got a pretty nice battery screed too. And if you've listened to a lot of my videos, you know that DeWALT actually sponsors us, so they send us these tools and we try them. So this year, 2025, we'll be using mostly DeWalt's Power Screed for most our pours this year, and that's just the agreement we had with them sending us the screed. It's not like I don't like the other ones or anything like that. The other ones are actually really good, and now that we've used this one a few times, this one we really like. My guys really like this one also, but in most of our videos this year you'll see us using strictly like most of the DeWALT concrete tools that we have, or if they're going to send us some other ones, you know, we'll try those out. Like I'm using the DeWALT mag float right there. I'm using DeWALT self-leveling laser. That works really good, and we'd like them. I mean, if I didn't like them, I wouldn't use them. I'm not just going to use them because they sponsor us if I don't like them. So we'll use what works best to get the job done. That's the way I feel. That's the way I do my work, and I'm going to continue to do my work that way. Now, if DeWALT has some tools that help make our job easier, then great, I'll use them and I'll recommend them. And I do recommend that Power Screed. I do really like it. Now, they don't make their own boards, so if you already have one, if you have a Power Screed, an old one, you're looking for a new one, you can use your previous board on that. You don't go out, and those boards can be pretty expensive. You know, that one that we got on the Power Screed right now is, you know, that's I don't know, I gotta look it up. It's probably like a $500 screed board, that 14-footer right there. So if you already got one, but you're just looking for the new power, the battery part of it, then great, just buy the DeWALT part. So we got the second truck all dumped out. Third one's backed in. He's going to be, actually that is the second truck. He's getting out of the way. Third one's out in the road and he's getting ready to back in. And what Darren and Luke are doing is they're just going over where I made my pads with the laser. And we try to set the pads based on, you know, the lengths of the screeds or what we have laid down in concrete, so we don't have to stretch the screed, we call it. So sometimes we'll make them closer together depending on how much concrete we got to pull down. But let's say this piece right here you're looking at from left to right is about 26 feet, then I would really only need one in the middle because we have a 14-foot board that would cover 28 feet in 2 passes. But it was just a little bit wider than that, so I had to make a couple little pads there to shrink things up, basically, is what they're doing. Now we can just jump right on it with the 14-foot battery screed and finish up what we got right here. I'm going to let you listen to this as he goes by just to see how quiet it is. do you think? Isn't that really quiet? Like, it feels like the guys like Darren and I raking the concrete around. The sound of us raking the concrete is actually louder than the screed itself. Do you agree? Let me know. Now, also, when I got the slip from the concrete truck driver, a lot of you guys are asking about the slumps, right? Like you guys think I pour really wet, but for those guys who think that, they don't know what the water reducer does for the concrete. A lot of you guys do, because I talk about it a lot on here, I know. But for you like concrete nerds out there, the water cement ratio on the slip of the concrete truck driver gives to me was 0.38. That's a really low water cement ratio, and what that means is, we're allowed to pour a slump like this and still have a low water cement ratio, which means we got really strong concrete here. And what I'll do, maybe I'll go to the concrete plant and show you a ticket and him batching and all that. So for the guys that really want to know about concrete slumps, we can maybe do a video on that later on. Let me know down in the comments if that's something that would interest you. Maybe go and do an interview with a concrete batch man and just talking about water cement ratios, especially in regards to adding like water reducers and stuff like that. Alright, Luke's going to finish up the second truck right here, and the third truck's got about 8 yards on it, maybe a little less than 8 yards, and looks like he's going to have plenty of concrete on there to finish the floor. And that's what we really like. So again, I'm going to let you listen right here real quick. Alright, so that's basically the sound coming from the camera there. That was pretty close, and again, I like the way it sounds. It's probably the quietest one that I've ever used. Really, it's really quiet. Battery screed, especially, the gas ones are a lot louder no matter whose gas one you're using. But as far as battery screeds now, I think I've used at least three or four different kinds, different manufacturers. This one's the quietest for sure. Luke's just touching up my edges where I both float. We like to smooth that out before it starts firming up like that. And then again, onto the third truck. So things are moving along pretty nicely. So far so good. What do you guys think about that power screed? And once you learn like the basics of it, like what to look for, how it feels, how quick to pull it back, how much RPMs to use, and then you got a couple guys behind you that are really experienced, that know what to do. I mean, it doesn't really get much easier than what it looks right here on the video. Now, it might take a few floors to get the hang of it like that. And, screeding behind a power screed, puddling or raking concrete behind a power screed is a little different than raking concrete behind a guy that's doing it by hand. It's similar, but it is a little bit different. So that takes a little bit of getting used to too, and then having two guys versus only one guy makes a huge difference, is what we've found. One guy can definitely do it, that's for sure, but then you're kind of going back and forth, side to side behind the guy that's operating the power screed, which can be done, but it just means that the guy operating might have to go a little bit slower just to allow you to keep up. You don't want the concrete to stop building up too much behind the board, otherwise it kind of vibrates back down under and it creates some humps. So basically, the speed that Luke's going right now, and then having the two guys, Jim and Darren, that are puddling, this is what it should look like right here on on a big floor like this with a 14-foot board, this is about as fast as you need to go if you want to get it really flat. And then you also need something to go by on each side, you know, like what we're doing right now is we're striking off a pad, right? And then we're shrinking this bay down, what we call it, because it was more than 14 feet. It was like 16 feet. You just don't want to guess that you're at the right level. So, you know, you want another pad to go off from that's right to floor grade. So that's what we do. We mag float the outer edge. That gives us something to go by here, and then we'll make a pad on the inside of the floor like Luke's looking at. And that tells us that the floor is going to be level or flat, however you want to call it. And some guys I've seen just drop the power screed down and just start going to town, and I don't know how they get it flat, honestly. They don't. There's no way of knowing other than doing it like this. So I would, if you're going to start doing stuff, you know, I would just kind of use your own methods, but use what other people have used in the past that have given them success. And I think you're going to have a lot of success too. So we've been doing this way for like 40 years. Our floors come out really flat. Obviously, everything has a tolerance, right? So you might be up and down a little bit. We find our floors aren't out of tolerance. You know, in a 14-foot section like this, they wouldn't be out of tolerance more than 1/8 of an inch. You know, and that's based on basically just human factor. Sometimes it's you know, tool factor too. Like there's a little tolerance to the laser. There's a little tolerance to how the guy holds the grade stick when he's doing his pads with the laser. There's obviously a little tolerance to each operator here when they're operating the power screed. So, you know, to have it only maybe up or down 1/8 of an inch on a floor this size, that's definitely well within recommended limits. So there's nothing better than knowing you're not going to run out of concrete. Now what Jim does, Jim sets up his own floor, so he actually comes and checks the subgrade, the dirt. He'll rake it out a little bit if he has to. He set the styrofoam here, and then he shoots a bunch of grades with his level, and you know, comes up with an average for the concrete thickness, and that's kind of how he orders his concrete. And then we always add just a little bit just to be safe. I think he might have added an extra yard on this whole job. And that's all figured into the prices too. Before you even go to estimate a job like this, you always got to add a little extra just to be safe. And that's going to finish things up. So I want you guys to let me know down in the comments if you'd ever used the power screed, number one, if you like this one, if you like how easy we made it look. If you need help, you can join the Concrete Underground. I got training videos in there that's going to teach you how to do stuff like this. Plus you can contact me in there and we can talk, and I can try to help you out with whatever things you need to be helped with. Basically that's going to be it for this floor. We're just going to get this bowl floated, and then you get to see just how nice and flat it looks. And then Darren and Luke are going to stay here. They'll get it power troweled and get it sawed today, and then that's it. We're on to the next job.
Waterfall.